margins some of these businesses are phenomenal. The operators are horrendous. And people are making money who have no idea what they're doing.
When you're going and analyzing different founders, companies to buy, what's like the dream founder kind of characteristics? Yeah. And then what are the dream sort of company characteristics that you specifically are looking after? You're like, okay, this is a grand slam.
Yeah. We can start with founder. So founder, it all comes down to character and experience. So if a founder has a huge amount of experience specifically with the problem that they're trying to solve, so we're talking 5 to 10 years of dealing with whatever the issue is, and a lot of times if they made the solution to help themselves, that helps because they usually tend to be a little more product focused. So a product driven entrepreneur who has lived with the issue for a long period of time is incredibly coachable, but balances that with a lot of confidence, willingness to take risk, and ambition. Because one of the issues that we've actually had more than once is that, we have a company, we invest in them, and then we triple the company in like a year. And then the founder is making more money than they ever thought possible, and then they just go golfing every day. And that's frustrating for me. And the thing is like, this is where, if you're at the deal table, everyone will, make promises and be like, oh, I want to go to the moon. I want to go to $1 billion. I want to go to 250 million. But all of a sudden you actually find out that 500 grand a month in personal income, that's
pretty
it.
Good.
That's actually their number, and a lot of times also the flip. So one of the cons of the fame is that people also know what I say I want before they come in. Right. And so they will say those things. Yeah, they'll say those things. Mm-hmm. And so unfortunately I have to be like, cool, that is the right thing to say. And we will find out if that's true, to the greatest degree possible. And so from a character perspective, those are probably the traits that I look for. So and absolutely unimpeachable. So like our personal values are sincere candor, unimpeachable character, and competitive greatness. Now, within that, the micro is context around the problem, product-driven overall, super open to feedback while maintaining confidence and ambitious, like for a different reason than money. Like I'm all good with money being a primary motivator in the beginning, but at some point, if you satisfy all your personal needs with money, you will stop if that is the only reason that you're doing it.
It's like the Bezos quote, like missionaries over mercenaries.
I love that. Yes. From a business perspective, I just look at it in terms of incremental revenue to enterprise value. Like that's really just it. Is okay. So if I add $1 million to 10 different businesses in top line revenue, in one business I might add $50 million in enterprise value. Let's call it on the extreme level of leverage, like a social platform, right, or a marketplace of some sort. That is going to be the highest leverage, highest multiple earning business possible. On the other extreme, you've got like a personal brand that, cash flows off of one-time transaction courses. Mm-hmm. That would probably have the lowest increment in terms of enterprise value that is attributed to a $1 million increase. It might be literally just a $1 million increase in enterprise value for $1 million increase in sales. Mm-hmm. And so when I look at that, then you think about the leverage. It's like, okay, well, if we think that we can triple a business or we think we can triple businesses of this type, well, then I'd rather get $150 million if I add $3 million to a business in terms of enterprise value versus 3. And so that's where picking the right opportunity. Now, usually that comes with increased risk because, a platform, the number of platforms that have been successful, you can probably, name on 2 hands. So there is a risk adjusted return kind of factor in there. And so, 1 degree closer to that would just be like a SaaS tool. So just like some sort of tool or software as a service that you could either be enterprise level or consumer level. That would probably maybe trade at 5 to 10 times top line. Still cool, not the same as a marketplace or a platform, but still a really valuable company. Next to that, you probably have e-commerce companies, it's physical products. They might trade at 1 to 5 times top line, depending on how strong the brand was and how recurring the customers were, how sticky they were, et cetera. Gross margins, profitability, growth, and then you've got probably brick and mortar chains as or service. Probably a services business would be the next one over, and then probably a chain of brick and mortar, and then probably some sort of solo operator with non-transactional business or very transactional business. And so that's kind of like the range that you're looking at from most valuable to least valuable. And there are different competitive dynamics though, because like if we look at, like we have 2 chains right now that are both relatively large, so 30 plus locations that we own 100%, like we own all of the locations that are not franchised. One of them we have 4 franchisees, 28 and then 4. But those ones are, the interesting part is that the people you're competing against are also usually not well capitalized, usually not very sophisticated. And so there is like a little bit of a landscape versus like a platform. You're going to have super well-funded competitors from very sharp people, lots of stakes. I mean, it's the high stakes game. And so I think there is definitely like play there. And we kind of look at all of those components when looking at a deal, which is like, okay, is this a super hot space right now? Or is this kind of a quiet space? Okay, so we can just like quietly accumulate and keep opening, 1 or 2 or 3 locations every month. And the nice thing that I like about brick and mortar specifically is, and this isn't the only part, there's just 2 of our companies in the portfolio, but the returns on capital are really, really predictable. And so it's like, if it costs you $100,000 to open a location, each location makes $500,000 a year in net free cash. It's, really good,
Yeah.
And so you can actually just really, really print money. And that's also one where it's very sellable. If you go to an acquirer and say, we have 100 dry cleaning locations, they're not really worried about Alex being involved at all, right? It's just like, I'm not cleaning the clothes and I'm not in the ads. So like, I'm just an owner here. And so it makes it easier to sell on the back end. And so anyways, all of those are different dynamics that kind of feed into like what opportunity is a grand slam.
And are you generally moving up the chain then? So to more like SaaS and platforms is down to the default and kind of going down from there?
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Now, we still look at deals. You know what I mean? If there's a screaming deal that we really like like if anyone has pseudo medical stuff, so if you're looking, if you have hair treatments or med spa or laser stuff, I'm really interested in that space right now. Overall for brick and mortar, because some of the margins in these businesses are phenomenal. The operators are horrendous, and people are making money who have no idea what they're doing. And so, if you're in those spaces, let me know if you've got like 5
Those
locations.
are ideal spaces to compete in.
Yeah, those are exactly, like really good returns on capital, inept operators, and not a lot of like super well capitalized competition.